Well, welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And this Friday, the signings, well, there's a lot of signings happening, but nothing's actually been completed as of yet. 27th of June, no signing has officially held up the shirt yet and completed everything. I think maybe there is a lot of truth in that story that Arsenal are waiting until the 1st of July. Although I think they may announce maybe Kepa and Norgaard before that, but it wouldn't surprise me if even that dragged until Monday. Big up to everyone locked in. Hope you are well on this Friday. We're probably going to do some watch-alongs over the weekend as well, possibly. The Club World Cup. I said I would get involved with the live content as we got towards the latter stages. I think we'll definitely do PSG against Inter Miami on Sunday. I think Chelsea are playing Benfica. Might do that. Might do the under-21 final, actually. But anyway, big up to everyone. Put the like, hey, tan settings, you know what I mean? The golden tan, you know. That's why I need to live in a hot country, people. I'll be walking around looking golden. In England, you know what I mean? They got my skin colour fades over here with all this cold weather. But anyway, big up to everyone locked in. Hope you're all well. Tanshaw TV. Oh, man. Anyway. Let's get the latest news. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. We're hunting down that 100k this summer, hopefully, or by the start of the new season. And big up the whole community. Slightly later than usual today, but we are here. Not too much has happened since yesterday, but we will get into it. Let's start off by talking about this Cristhian Mosquera. Mosquito, I was calling him yesterday, but nah, that's only me. You called him a mosquito. You don't rate. Nah, you know, information and entertainment people. But anyway, Arsenal have had a bid rejected by Valencia for Cristhian Mosquera. However, discussions are ongoing. That's from Ryan Taylor, who works for the Daily Mirror, who's not a bad source. Not a great one, but not a bad one. Apparently, they want between 20 and 25 million euros. So what have we offered? I mean, Arsenal love doing this, don't they? I get it. People will say this is how business works. But sometimes you think, just pay the asking price. 20 million euros is 17 million pounds. Unless they are asking for more than that. But the reports say they want between 20 and 25. They've rejected Arsenal's opening offer. He's got a year left on his contract. I've been trying to... I've got a few friends who watch a lot of La Liga. They say he's all right. He's got a lot of potential. He's not necessarily the finished article right now. I've seen him play twice, but I'll be honest, in them two games, I wasn't particularly watching him. So I'm not going to come on here and say, oh, I know how he plays and I've watched him for years. Nah. Let other people do that. You know, people always become experts on players when Arsenal are linked with them. But no, I've watched him twice, and like I said, I wasn't even focusing on him. I've done what probably most of you have done over the last 24 hours. Type his name in on YouTube and have a look at him. Apparently he's quick, not bad on the ball. Won the most ground duels in La Liga last season. Can play right back as well. But apparently his passing needs a little bit of work. This is what I've been told. Some of you guys who watch La Liga will probably know more than me. So feel free to get in the comments and tell me more about him. Because as I said, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert on him. I've packed him on FIFA a few times. And I always quick sell him, to be fair. He ain't worth a lot. So it is what it is. But yeah, Cristhian Mosquera, 21 years of age. I believe he's just turned 21. Yeah, he's now 21. In fact, he turned 21 today. Happy birthday, Cristhian Mosquera. Hand of Arsenal said, new round of talks will commence soon after Valencia rejected Arsenal's opening offer. Personal terms are reported. No issue at all. Let's just have a look. How much does he earn in terms of wages? He'll be on peanuts, surely. 20 years of age at Valencia. I can't imagine his wages are very high. Let's have a look. Oh my, he's on £3,000 a week. And that's euro. No, he's on 3,000 euros. He's probably on less than us. He's on 3,000 euros. Dear, oh dear. Nah. Well, in fact, yeah, because he would get taxed heavily on that as well. Apparently, he's rapid, people are saying. 3,000 euros, 2.5 grand English, plus heavy tax on that. You watch Arsenal give him about 100 grand a week. If a player's on 3,000 euros, right, and you're signing for Arsenal, realistically, we should be giving him 30 grand a week. That's 10 times more than his wages. But the way modern football works, we'll probably give him 60, 70 grand, I reckon. 3 grand. Obviously, this is his first deal at Valencia as a professional, really. So his wages are very low for a player of that age. He's in his 4th season, but only the last 2 seasons has he really played as a first-team player. Yeah, we'll give him about 80 grand a week. Listen, I'm with you, Joe, but he said you can't always pay the asking price. It will keep eating into the budget. I totally get that. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say every time anybody asks you an asking price, you're going to try and hustle it. But sometimes you've just got to get it done. You've just got to get it done. By the way, and listen, I'm not saying I know enough about him, but I'm happy that Arsenal are buying another defender. I think we do need another centre-back. Bottle Job said, I watch La Liga every week. He ain't that good, though, to be fair. Mosquera is a bit of a bozo. Zubi is decent, but not better than Partey. We need at least another proper midfielder. I've got somebody in the community. He watches La Liga. In fact, he lives in Spain. And I was asking him about Zubimendi, and he said, look, Zubimendi is very, very highly rated in Spain. It's probably only because Rodri is the ball-playing defensive midfielder that Zubimendi doesn't get in the Spanish team. However, he did say Mosquera was very raw. He said he's rapid. He said he does have a mistake in him. Especially against the better teams, you know, if it's like a Lewandowski or somebody who's very clever. But he said he's a great athlete. So, listen, it is what it is. 20 million euros, 17 million quid. I bet we've offered 15 million euros. Something like that. My problem is this. Am I being really harsh here, right? I'm looking at it like this. Because I always look at who you're competing with. People say don't focus on anyone else, focus on ourselves, and I get that. But also, you do have to look at what other teams are doing, especially the ones you're in competition with. Liverpool have Van Dijk and Konate. They're going to probably sign Mark Gahey. He started for England in the Euros, got all the way to the final. Did really well with John Stones. I think Gahey's a very good Premier League centre-back. That effectively, I would imagine Gahey will be their third choice centre-back in terms of Konate and Van Dijk and then him. We're going to have Gabriel and Saliba and then Mosquera. He will back up Saliba. I suppose Kivior would be the backup for Gabriel. Calafiori as well, and he can play left back. I'm just trying to sort of figure out in terms of level, like, is our backup centre-back on the level? I suppose the other thing you could say is that there's a chance Konate leaves Liverpool in 12 months. So maybe they're looking at Gahey to go in there and be the partner for Van Dijk if Konate goes to Real Madrid or PSG. So listen, as I said, Mosquera, I don't know enough about him to really say, yes, this is brilliant or no. What I've heard, he's rapid, he's aggressive, but he's raw. So let's see. And it's always good to have quick centre-back. Salman, who lives in Spain as well, he said, Mosquera's speed makes up for a lot of other issues he has. Against lower teams, he looks really good. Yeah. Squad player settings, yeah. I think Konate is leaving. It feels like he could be going. It feels like Konate could go next summer. But it depends. I think he wants a big contract. I agree with this, Litty. We need maverick players in Arsenal. We lack magic. We do. I think Arsenal lack players that you're desperate to go and watch. Even if you're not a fan of a club, I I think you can look at another team and go, I'd pay to go and watch him play football. Like, I used to love when Arsenal played Chelsea because I loved watching Hazard. Hazard was brilliant to watch. He was so good on the ball, low centre of gravity. Alexis Sanchez in our own team, and various other players. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, Gareth Bale. Whether you like these teams or not, you knew like they were good to watch. You would pay to watch them. They entertain you when you watch them. I don't think there are enough players at Arsenal that you would say, if you can take away being an Arsenal fan, how many players would you say I would pay to watch him play? I mean, I'll be honest, some of Arsenal's best players at the moment are our defenders. I'll be totally honest. Pay to watch Curtis Shaw. Hey, listen, you could tune in for free, people. I'll be honest, a lot of our... Saliba's one of my favourite players. Gabriel's one of my favourite players. When Saka's at it, yeah, he's Saka's a brilliant player. I don't think he's unbelievable to watch. And I hope people take that in the right way rather than the wrong way. His output, his stats, his effectiveness makes him a fantastic player. But I don't think Saka is a hugely entertaining footballer, to be honest. And that's me as an Arsenal fan, and I love Saka. I don't think Saka's great to watch. It's great when he scores a banging goal for us and celebrates, but I couldn't compare him to Alexis Sanchez in terms of wingers who really got you on the edge of your seat. He's a very effective, hard-working, quality player, and I think Arsenal lack flair at the moment. We need a bit more flair. And don't get me wrong, though, people. I think Saka could have more flair about his game if we played a slightly different way. Saka's game is very hard working. Saka is like Salah. Yeah, Salah, he has moments of where he is very entertaining, but they're all about effectiveness, those guys. Goals, 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 assists, numbers, stats. Do you know what I mean? But I think Saka could be more flair-based if our system was a little bit more attacking. Our wingers have to do a lot of defending. Visionary said Saka is efficient. It's like Salah. They're not entertaining, but efficient. It's the manager. Yeah, possibly. Salah has improved in his flair. I do agree with that. I wonder if that's changed with Sadio Mane going. Because anytime I used to watch Liverpool against Arsenal when those two played, I felt like Salah was just trying to score. I felt like Mane was trying to rip you apart. I think since Mane's gone, maybe Salah said, you know what, I can do a little bit more with the ball now, be a bit more greedy, and twist people up a little bit more. I think a lot of it is because of these modern day systems, you know, they don't like you losing possession. So David said, greetings to the community. Can you check my TikTok, guys? David OK86. Thank you all for the content over the years. Curtis, big up. Go and follow David on his TikTok. Big up to you, bro. Joba said, scouting report says he's a bit like Gabriel. Nice. Well, Gabriel got better and better, so let's hope this Mosquera does if we get him. Wilson says, Big C, happy belated birthday. Two things. Would you rather Rodrygo and Sesko or Eze and Gyokeres? Would you start Eze over 08 in the 10 for big games? It's a great question. We're going to talk about Eze shortly, so I won't tell you everything, but my issue, I personally, I want Eze at Arsenal. I don't want Eze to be the left winger. I think Eze is a 10. I think you give him the freedom. I think you let him play central. I think you let him drift. I don't think you sign Eze and play Eze left wing. You can, but I don't think you're going to get the best out of him. Imagine with Arsenal, right? Our left back inverts. If you've got a left winger that's tucking in as well, you've got no left-hand side. It would be different if you had a left back that hugged the touchline and got up and down and Eze was drifting in. That doesn't matter then. You're still strong out there. If Lewis Skelly's tucking into midfield and Eze's tucking in as well, our left-hand side is non-existent. So I personally don't like Eze on the left. If I signed Eze, I would want him playing more central. However, in terms of your question, because I want Gyokeres over Sesko and I'm still a big fan of Eze, I take Eze and Gyokeres, even though that sort of contradicts everything I've said. He can play left wing, but what I'm saying is, at Palace, if he does play on the left, he doesn't have to defend as much, and he's got Tyreek Mitchell bombing up and down. At Arsenal, one thing I will say, go and watch Martinelli and Saka play for Arsenal. On the TV or at the game, look how much defending they have to do. It's crazy. They do so much defensive work. And again, would that suit him? But I want Rodrygo and Gyokeres, to be fair, and Eze. Get them free, and I think we could win the league, but I doubt very much we'll do that. He would have a lot more defensive responsibility. But it could work, to be fair. When I think about it, him drifting off the left. I don't know, maybe. At times he does start on the left for Palace, but what I'm saying is when he plays left for Palace, they allow him that freedom to drift inside, don't defend too much. The left back will deal with the left-hand side. At Arsenal, we will have no left-hand side because our left back tucks in. So how is that? Our left-hand side will be all over the place. If you... Listen, Eze's got a 60 million release clause. You pay that. Rodrygo probably cost you 75 million. Gyokeres maybe cost you 60, 70 million. 200 million for them. You've then paid 10 for Norgaard, 5 for Kepa, 210, 50 for Zubimendi, 260 million. I think we could win the title with that. Genuinely could. But they won't do it. They'll go Sesko, they'll go for Madueke or something crazy like that. Hopefully they don't. Arsenic said, we are in boring Arsenal phase, need new Arsene Wenger. Do you know one thing I was thinking about Arsene Wenger? I was having this discussion last night with a friend of mine. I said, something that worries me about Arteta is Arteta doesn't seem to go for individual brilliance. When he makes signings, you always look and think you can see how that player's going to fit in the structure of his system. Where sometimes I think you've just got to go, forget the system, get a star. Get a left winger that, okay, maybe he doesn't defend as much as Martinelli. But guess what? When he gets the ball, the right back's scared of him. They're going to double up on him. His creativity is mad. Because if you've got Saka on that side, who scares people? They all double up on Saka. And you've got another beast on the left-hand side. That team has got a big problem before the game even kicks off. Because doubling up on both wingers creates a lot of space for other players. That's why Liverpool was so successful with Mane and Salah. You double up on both of them, that's 4 players out of the game. Then guess what? Firmino goes and runs riot. Firmino used to rip Arsenal to shreds. He ripped us apart. Same with City back in the day. You had Mahrez on one side and, I don't know, Sterling, whoever on the left, when they were really at it. And you couldn't double up on both of them. You had Aguero. And that's how they rip you apart. Arsenal are too one-dimensional. We're all right-hand side. Double up on Saka, take him out of the game. You look at PSG. PSG doubled up on Saka, and Hakimi said, "Don't worry about Martinelli. I'll go 1v1," and that was the end of it. If that's Rodrygo or that's a top quality left winger, Hakimi can't do that. And then you're taking somebody else out of the game. Then guess what? You get a top quality striker in the middle as well. They've got 3 big problems. If I was an opposing manager against Arsenal, all I'd say is double up on Saka and be aggressive with Odegaard. Without that, I'm not sure there's a lot going on with Arsenal. And that's why we're not winning titles and Champions Leagues. Because if you look at the teams that won trophies, PSG, you can't say double up on Kvaratskhelia because you've got Doué on the other side doing stepovers and flicking the ball over your head. And then you've got Dembele in the middle who's had a Ballon d'Or potential winning season. Arsenal need 3 weapons up top. They have to address this attack. So anyway, let's get into the show. Let's get into some of the other news that is going on. Cristhian, Norgaard. I mean, I've just spoke about attacking brilliance, individual brilliance. And then I start talking about Norgaard. I mean, I've already accepted this. It is what it is. I've said this so many times on this channel, people. Don't let Arsenal ruin your summer. Right? Don't let Arsenal ruin your summer. They're going to do what they're going to do. Most of the time when Arsenal do something, I don't agree with it, to be honest. They hardly ever make a signing and go, yeah, I would have done that. That makes total sense. I'm always like, wow, what are they thinking there? I'm just looking at it like this, just to make life easier for myself. Norgaard replaces Jorginho. Jorginho is probably better on the ball. When I've watched Norgaard play for Brentford, I don't think he's great on the ball. He's a workhorse though. He's a good tackler. Now, Arteta was probably thinking, if Rice plays box to box and Zubamendi's in the 6, you need a more physical 6 for different types of games. It's 11 million quid. He's 31. It is what it is. I don't think he's a great player. I don't think he's a bad player. He's a workhorse. What I will say with the Norgaard signing, Norgaard means Zubamendi has to be a hit record. There's no settling in period for Zubamendi. There's no rotation. It needs to be Zubamendi works from day one. Because if Zubamendi doesn't work, you're going to Norgaard. And Norgaard ain't going to win us a title. When Man City have got Rodri. When Liverpool have got Gravenberch, who had a really good season. When Chelsea have got Caicedo. They're the levels we're dealing with. So, I think Partey would have been a brilliant insurance policy for Zubamendi. It's like being fully comp in the car. No matter what happens, whoever's fault it is, you're covered. With Norgaard, this is third-party fire and theft. If it's your fault, you've got no cover. Because if Zubamendi don't work in the 6, we are struggling. So that's what I think Norgaard has done to Zubamendi. It's increased the pressure on Zubamendi to work. Because I was happy with Zubamendi, thinking Zubamendi comes in and Partey's the insurance policy. Now Zubamendi's insurance is Norgaard. Norgaard in the 6 is not going to win Arsenal a Premier League or a Champions League. That's the reality of the situation. So hopefully Zubamendi settles in, does well, and this guy's just a backup player. He's powerful, tough in the challenge. He's captain Brentford. I'm not excited, but at the end of the day, Jorginho played 700 minutes. Raza said, not sure if Curtis will agree with this. From a tactical point of view, Arsenal are too passive. U-shape, no central progression. The middle is crowded, no width on the left, plus 0 in behind. You're easy to... Totally agree. Totally agree. I do agree. We're too slow. We move the ball too slow. Our whole game is based down our right-hand side. It's all down the right. The middle of the pitch, yeah, I totally agree. Odegaard drops too deep. And then your striker drops deep. Nobody makes a run in behind. You never see a through ball, really. So we need to change. Hopefully that changes with a better striker. Norgaard, I'm hoping Norgaard. I'm trying to think of an example. But I hope Norgaard will be like... he's not like him in terms of profile. But, you know, when you think back to successful squads, like... a Darren Fletcher at Man United or a Flamini at Arsenal, where he's just going to be big, strong, physical and difficult to play against. Because that's what he is. I remember him from Brentford. The guy's a tank. He's a presence. Physicality. Yeah, Milner, you know them players that you look at and you think, I don't really rate him, but they're not bad. They're just he's going to do dirty work for us. He's coming to Arsenal to just clean up, just do dirty work. He's not going to score many goals. He's not going to play many passes that split the opponent in half. He's not going to nutmeg people. He's just going to put big challenges in. Yeah, he wrote off Martinelli, didn't he? Say he might need to apologise to him. And sometimes you need them guys in the squad. Some of the names you're throwing up are Endo at Liverpool. Gareth Barry. I mean, Gareth Barry was decent, but yeah, that's what I'm hoping. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I'm excited about... Nah, I'm not going to sit here and do that. But sometimes you just need them players in your squad. That you're having a tough day at the office. He comes on, he's 6 foot plus, he's experienced, he's aggressive. And let's say Bernardo Silva's bossing the game at the Etihad. He goes on there, wins his headers, tough challenges, and breaks up play. Maybe, because I think because Declan Rice he sees now as a a player they want to get forward more, he's going to do that dirty work in the 6 that Rice maybe was doing at one stage. So apparently he's having his medical. So this deal looks like it'll get tied up quickly, man. Big up my bro, Nathan, man. Hope you're well, bro. He said, big up Big C in the GOATed community. Hope you had a blessed birthday. I had a good one with the family, bro. Big up to you. I know as a Liverpool fan, you're very happy right now. Liverpool fans have got a different feeling around them right now. You know, Liverpool fans are used to doing well, but not really. They're frustrated a lot of the time with the transfer window. Right now, they're doing whatever they want, you know. They've dropped about 200 million already, and they want a striker. Curtis, all Arsenal players are defensive options only, said Arsenic. We make players defend a lot, that's for sure. I honestly think, right, I've been critical of players like Martinelli. I think Martinelli in a different system, different manager, would be a better player than what you're seeing now. Now, don't get me wrong. He hasn't improved enough, and that's on him. But I don't think that system helps. I think our defenders, our wingers have to defend too much. Big Up C says, North Moroccan, love from Morocco. You are popular here. Hey, I'll come Marrakesh, you know, and I've seen some of them holiday resorts over there. He said, we miss the dynamism up front with Sesko involved. It becomes static. I mean, they say Sesko can run once he gets going, but his acceleration is not particularly good. So that's what worries me, you know. Again, you watch his game, you want somebody who's going to run in behind, make runs, take defenders away, which is something that the likes of Aubameyang did so well for us. Make them runs in behind. You scare defenders naturally with your pace. Lee said, Arteta does like individual brilliance. Case in point, Rice goes against what the manager says and bangs in 2 fantastic goals against Real Madrid. Never takes another free kick at goal again, and not by chance. Exactly. 25 yards out, biggest game of the season, and our set-piece coach is telling him to chip it to the back post. Now, surely, you would say to yourself, in a game of fine margins against Real Madrid, have a shot. Anything can happen. He's going to chip it to the back post. I love the fact Declan Rice ignored it. But like you said, how many other free kicks he took? I love said, Norgaard, Odegaard, Mouthguard, Guard of Honour. Don't matter. Calvert-Lewin in 5. Calvert-Lewin on a 3. That's a banging one. David, big up. He's gifted a membership to someone in the community. Big up yourself. 2.5k locked in. Make sure you subscribe. And Mish said, City look good. No more inverted. You're going to see a different Man City this year. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. Pep is signing players that don't look like typical Pep players. That tells me that Pep's gone, something's gone wrong, I'm going to adapt. That's why Pep's one of the greatest managers ever. Because he is ingrained in that system. And he is still willing to say, I'll change it a little bit. Because it didn't work. And that's the problem for me from Arteta. Arteta feels like I'm in this system and I'm going to stick with it no matter what. And I'm just going to keep running with it. And that, to me, is a big problem. Static said, hey, Curtis, happy birthday for a few days ago, bro. Big up to you, bro. Appreciate that, man. Gunarican said, we are behind. On this day, the 27th of June, bear in mind we haven't officially signed anyone yet. But even if you put Kepa, Norgaard and Zubimendi into this squad, even if you put Sesko in this squad as well, I think Liverpool and Man City are better than Arsenal going into next season. The only way that can change is if they get a top quality left winger and a top quality striker. For me, if you're bringing in Seskos and players like that, you're not as good as Man City or Liverpool. Because, I'm sorry, Mamouche did more in Germany than Sesko. And he is effectively Man City's second choice striker. We can't even have a conversation about Haaland. I mean, I saw yesterday Haaland's got 300 goals in his career. What are we doing here? Liverpool won the league basically with no striker last season. Let's be real. Jota's injured all the time. Darwin Núñez, he'd spill his dinner on the carpet. You imagine Liverpool go and buy Gyokeres or Isak or Ekatike with Diaz and Salah and Wirtz in the 10. We have got some ground to catch up. They have got to make 2 signings that make us go, wow. That is serious. If you're bringing in Madwakes and Seskos and players like that, you ain't winning no league title. I'm sorry, you're not. People have to understand, we've got a good team. We've got a good team right now. Goalkeeper, back four, midfield. I'm not totally convinced by the midfield. All we need is star quality right now. Top striker, top winger. We're lacking creativity as well. Apart from Odegaard and Saka's crosses, I don't see enough chance creation in this team. Big up Dre said, well, go on, Curtis. Big up the community. Enjoy your summer, people. Don't let Arteta FC ruin your lives. You're bang on, bro. You're bang on. 300 goals at 24 years of age for Haaland. I have a lot of conversations with people about Haaland. I think he's an absolute beast of a footballer. A lot of people go, oh, you know, he's tapping merchant, blah, blah, blah. Haaland is an incredible footballer. Incredible. His understanding of playing his role in the team is on another level. His movement is incredible. For a big guy, he can shift as well. I'm telling you, I think Haaland's an unbelievable footballer. He's not as exciting as he was when he was at Dortmund. That might be the Pep system. But he's an incredible player. Not only can he physically bully defenders, he can run away from them. And he very rarely misses a big chance. He's an unbelievable football player. This was interesting. Another picture posted online today. We knew yesterday that Partey was in Spain with Saliba and Timber and Gabriel. It now turns out he's with Calafiori. Now, I'll give you a bit more insight just in case you don't know. I'm sure a lot of you will know. The guy in the blue T-shirt is the Arsenal fitness coach. So, is there still a possibility, do we think, that Thomas Partey signs a new deal? Now, you would probably say no, because you wouldn't sign Norgaard, surely, if there was still a possibility of Partey extending. But it's just interesting that he's in Spain with the players and the fitness coach. Now, Arsenal are going to Spain for a fitness camp in about 10, 11 days' time, I believe. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. He's obviously going to be close friends with the Arsenal players. He's been at the club 5 years. That fitness coach has probably gone over there to do a little mini pre-season with the Arsenal players. Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori are there. We know that Timber's there as well. So Partey is probably just around them. I did see today Partey again being linked with Barcelona, which again tells you, I always think when a player leaves your club, you understand a lot about how good that player is by the club that he goes to. Oh, Rob Holding's a good squad player. He ends up at Sheffield United. Callum Chambers, decent. Yeah, he goes to Cardiff. El Neni, oh, good attitude. Yeah, he ends up playing in Qatar. You know what I mean? Partey might end up at Barcelona. Aubameyang went to Barcelona. You know when these guys go. Partey was magically fit during his contract year. Doesn't deserve to be re-signed. I mean, I see it slightly different. I think that when we've seen El Neni get a contract for basically doing nothing, just smiling and being around, Jorginho given an extension for not doing that much, I think Partey's just had one of his best seasons. Now, yeah, you could say, oh, he's doing it for a new deal, but not necessarily. Maybe he's just been able to shake off the injuries. I said this yesterday and I'll say it again. When Partey was suspended against PSG, we all went into meltdown. We knew we had a big problem without Partey in that midfield, and we did. We lost the game. Vitinha and them lot destroyed our midfield. So 3 months ago, we was all stressing how important he is. Now people are justifying that he should be gone. I think if we were serious, you keep Partey for a year to allow Zubimendi to adapt. That's what I would have liked to have seen. Now, people say, yeah, but the wages, 200 grand, blah, blah, blah. But get rid of other players that, Zinchenko's on 150. If you need to save money, sell Zinchenko. Zinchenko has less effect on this team than Partey. But listen, he's going anyway. He's going. Yeah, them sports bras, Stat Sport. I mean, they're not called sports bras, for those of you that are calling them sports bras in the chat. Premier League footballers have to train in these. Even some championship players training them. They've obviously got a little microchip in them, and it tracks everything that you do from your running, from your heart rate, and all things like that. So, but very interesting that he's still around the team. But I do think he's gone, to be honest. The contract officially ends in 3 days' time. So let's see what happens with that one. Big up to everyone locked in, though. Some of you saying you didn't get notifications off YouTube, so my apologies if that did happen. Big up, Fitz. Hope you are well, bro. Good to see you back in the community. Arsenal must stop buying players for Mikel Arteta and start purchasing players for the club. This means any quality manager will have the tools to succeed. I agree with that. I think a manager should have input into the player, but I don't think he should necessarily be saying every player, because surely the point of Berta is to plan for the long term of the club. If we just say this is Arteta's system and every player's got to fit that system, what happens if Arteta goes and the system changes and you have players that struggle to adapt? You need adaptable players. You need adaptable players. And again, I know I talk about him all the time, but look at it like this. In fact, more than just him, but Aubameyang was signed by Wenger. Banged in goals when Wenger was here for 6 months. Unai Emery takes over. He wins the Golden Boot under Unai Emery. Then Arteta takes over. We won the FA Cup the first season. Then it obviously faded. What I mean is, good players adapt to different systems, different managers, different styles. Yeah, you don't need to go, oh, because we put a lot of crosses in, let's buy a giant in the air. Well, what about on the floor? Do you know what I mean? They have to be adaptable players. Big up Fitz, man. Frog says, too many higher ups at work to watch today. Yeah, take it easy, man. Don't put your job in doubt. But big up yourself every single time, Curtis. Hope you had a little clean up on your holiday. Yeah, but a little nice holiday, you know, with the family and that. It was nice, man. You know, that sunshine and the nice food. And yeah, man, it was good. The Herd said, the only striker we should be in for is Isak. When did we stop being a serious club? I would love to have that conversation and with the club and say, why have we heard for 6 months that we wanted Isak in the summer? We've got to the summer and there's no Isak talk. Because they got in the Champions League. You're telling me that stops us going in for it. Like, I was saying this yesterday. Liverpool being linked with Isak. Now, I'm not sure if Isak leaves or not. Probably not. But if Arsenal or Liverpool put 130, 140 million on the table, what do you think Isak would do? You think Isak's going to... Let's look at Liverpool because they're the champions, right? If Liverpool offered 130 million for Isak right now, he's on about 160, 170, I believe. If they offered him 300 grand a week, 130 million, what do you think Isak's going to do? Do you think Isak's just going to go, nah, not interested, carry on at Newcastle? I bet he would start acting funny. I bet he'd start acting, oh, I'm happy at Newcastle, I love it here, and, you know... Oh, yeah, but Liverpool have offered you 130 million, 300 grand a week. Boy, I don't know, you know, it's a bit cold in Newcastle. I'm telling you, you've got to disrupt players. You've got to take players out of the club. You've got to make them start feeling uncomfortable. You can't always be nice. Southampton tried to take Liverpool to court over Van Dijk. Who cares? They got him. They got him in the end. So... Young Gunner said, another player leaving on a free. Why? If he'd started well and added cool, but he's just had his best season. We aren't even upgraded. And I said that yesterday again. Partey cost 45 million. He's leaving for nothing. Waffle said, I'm telling you, he'd turn his head quick. Osimhen is the one. I'm shocked that no one signed him yet. I wonder if he just stays at Galatasaray. Apparently they love him. Beresford said, big up Big C, shout out to my little niece, just arrived from Ghana, first time meeting her in person, 1 year old. Any tips on being an uncle? Bro, it's just, you've just got to be, whatever they watch or play, you know, you just got to get involved, don't you? You know what I mean? Flintstones, Mickey Mouse, Scooby-Doo, you just got to get involved, don't you? Osimhen wants crazy wages. Yeah, you're right, but... Havertz on 275. That's crazy wages for a guy that's not even that good. Tammy said, you worry too much. Old man. Bro, Arsenal fan, PTSD. In my normal day-to-day life, I'm very relaxed. But Arsenal, they cause stress. Let's talk about a player that would excite me if we went and signed him. and that is Eze. Team News and Tickets reporting Arsenal have an agreement on personal terms with Eberechi Eze, and the player wants the move. Crystal Palace price is 3 installments of 20 million with 8 million in add-ons. I mean, listen. I don't know how much more you need it handed on a plate before you make a solid move. Not only is there a release clause, they're willing to be flexible with that release clause. Boyhood Arsenal fan, scored a banging goal against us at the Emirates. The year before, he ripped Declan Rice apart. I don't care what anyone says. That game, not the season just gone, the season before, he was twisting up Declan Rice at the Emirates, right? Scored in the FA Cup final, winning goal. He's just a baller. The guy is a baller. Boyhood Arsenal fan. 68 million. Paid over 3 years and 8 million in add-ons. Like, what are we doing here? And he's being linked with Tottenham. Imagine we say no and he ends up at Tottenham. Because let's be real, if we don't go in for him and Tottenham did, he would go there. Champions League, bigger wages. Come on, man. Come on. What I will say, though, I mean, I would like to see a left winger and Eze. Now, I don't know if they're prepared to do both. There's a lot of rumours now saying it's Rodrygo or Eze. I think Eze is brilliant. I want Eze at Arsenal 100%. I just don't know if Lewis Skelly and Eze on the left works. I don't know if Eze drifting inside and Lewis Skelly playing inverted left back gives us enough on that left-hand side. I would like to see him play an attacking midfield and then still buy a left winger. But I don't know if they have that kind of money. Or if the Kroenkes are giving him that kind of money. Imagine how much it would mean to him, first of all. Boyhood Arsenal fan, released as a teenager by the club. Released as a teenager by the club. Why I think this story has come out is because Palace obviously probably want to sell him. They're probably looking at the overall system. They know he wants to go. They're thinking, listen, if you get 60 million for him, it's good business for them. Eze needs to be at Arsenal next season, man. I'm sorry. I said this last year. I think Eze would end up... let me say this. I think Eze could push Odegaard out of this team. I think he could push him out. If he played in that central attacking midfielder. He's stronger. He's quicker. He shoots from distance. More flair, more skill. Bit more of a maverick. The Odegaard that played this season, Eze pushes him out of the team. The Odegaard that played 2 seasons ago, that's a different conversation. Because Odegaard is class. Don't get me wrong. You know, I do still think Odegaard has got the ability to make something happen. And you're right, you're spot on. Eze does not hide. He definitely doesn't hide. I'm just not totally sure about him on the left. I would still like to see us buy a left winger that's dynamic, that goes 1v1. But even if you're buying Eze as a squad player, I think he'd be a fantastic signing. Man still rates it. Listen, you've heard me criticise Odegaard massively this season. I think when you've done well at a club, you should have some credit in the bank. And Odegaard had back-to-back player of the seasons for Arsenal and then a stinker of a season last season. So I'm prepared to give Odegaard one more season to prove himself. If he doesn't, get rid of him at the end of the season. No doubt about it. I'm prepared to give him a better striker in front of him who moves more and see if you get a better Martin Odegaard. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I'd give him one more season. But Eze is an absolute no-brainer. Arsenal should be all over this deal. Get this deal done. The problem is, if they're looking at him as the left winger, are they going to wait? Because they're saying, once again in this article, that Berta is lining up a number of left wingers before Arteta decides which one he wants. So they seem to have this scattergun approach where when they want a striker, they'll negotiate with 3 or 4 strikers and then pick one. Now they want a left winger, they're negotiating. I think we all know they want Rodrygo. I think Rodrygo's the one they want, but I think they're struggling to get him. So now they're looking at Madueke, they're looking at Eze. I don't want Madueke, by the way, not a chance. But I think that's what they're doing. Then with strikers, they're looking at Sesko, they're looking at Gyokeres, they're probably still looking at Watkins, which is what we've heard. So, can you ask tough questions again to Arteta in the press conference? Do you know what? I'll be honest. I thought last year my questions were better. The first year, my intention was right, but I had to understand the way he was going to back that comment off. If you ask him about a player, he's probably going to say, I can't talk about a player that doesn't play for my club. Last year, I asked him 3 questions. 2 of them were picked up by the mainstream media. And funnily enough, even the Mbappe question the year before was the biggest question out of the press conference. What I'm going to do this year, I haven't even sorted the whole tour out yet, right? What I'm going to do, before one of those press conferences on the community page, I'm going to say to you guys, what question do you want me to ask him in the press conference? You guys will throw loads of questions in there, and whatever's the most asked question, we will ask him that. We will ask him that. So then I can say, look, you guys wanted this question. I asked him, and that's what we got from him. Yeah, that's what I do like to try and put pressure on him, but he gets out of it. He's clever. You've got to back him into a corner. Like I said, what do you need to do to win the league? He said, 114 points. It was like, bro, come on, man. No one's ever done that in the Prem. So what's the point? So, but yeah, we'll do that. Len said, I think Partey stays. I don't think so. Vic said, ask Mikel to leave. Yeah, I'm going to give the community the choice. Salman said, I will give you mine now. If you don't win a trophy, what does it take for you to walk away? See, or yeah, I could say, Mikel, do you feel like if you don't win a trophy this season, will you question whether you're still the right manager for the club? That would be a good question. You've got to ask it in the right way. But yeah, I like that question. We can apply pressure, people. Don't worry about it. Afternoon, Big C, in the community. Big C looking tanned. I see you got the nice sun. Yeah, man. You see English sun, it's just relentless. You're just tired. But the ones abroad, a lot better. That's a strong question. That would be a bomber, I'm telling you. But they might not let me in the next one. Security guard might be walking in after that, you know. He would just say no. He would say, well, guys, it's about more than trophies, guys. If you look at where we were and where we are now, I think it's night and day, guys. I think it's night and day. I think we've made so much progress. The process is working so well, guys. I'd get out of it, man. Let's talk about Rodrygo. They'll be escorting me out like they did to Babs. You know what I mean? Security guard would be coming in, have a word. It'd say, yeah, we won't put that on the transcript. Can I have a word with you outside? That's your last press conference. But anyway, it's not a bad impersonation. I got to work on it a little bit. Arsenal are keen on Real Madrid's Rodrygo, but a move is unlikely unless the winger formally requests a transfer. With his contract until 2028 and 17 goals last season, Real Madrid hold all the cards. Bring your boots, bring your pads. What happened to Babs? They took him out of the press conference because he had an Arsenal shirt on. You're not allowed to wear a football shirt in the press conference. Listen, Rodrygo, I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest. And again, with that, you're going to have to play a waiting game because nothing's going to happen until after the Club World Cup. So that's going to take them probably into the middle of July. So I just can't see him going. At the start of the window, I had hope and optimism that Rodrygo might go. I just don't feel like he's going anywhere. Which is a shame. He's good. You look at the right-wing market, it's weak. Madrid would be crazy to let Rodrygo go. If you look at Rodrygo's social media, every time they've got a game, he's just like, putting love hearts up for Real Madrid. That guy loves it. Imagine coming from like Brazil in the streets and you end up at Real Madrid. Let's be honest, Real Madrid are the biggest football club in the world. They are. They're the biggest football club on the planet. He's 24 years of age. He's at Madrid. He plays most weeks right wing. Why the hell would he leave to go to Arsenal at this stage in his career? He played 30 league games last year, 34 the year before, 34 the year before, 33 the year before. It's not like he sits on the bench. Goulet has played a couple games on the right over him. So that might be the only way that he gets dropped. And then he might say, I've got to leave in a World Cup year. I can't afford to sit on the bench. So then I will go and play for Arsenal. But the only thing Arsenal can offer Rodrygo is playing in your natural position on the left rather than playing on the right. Apart from that, we can't offer him nothing. He's got everything there. So it's difficult. I don't see Rodrygo coming to Arsenal. I don't even talk about it much now because I don't see any way it happens. Even if Madrid put Rodrygo on the market, you're going to have a very difficult time getting him anyway because I think Bayern and City would look at him. City get rid of Grealish, it would be a no-brainer for them to go for Rodrygo. So that would be difficult, but we'll see. And finally, last story of the day. It's a fairly quiet day, to be honest, in terms of news, but it wouldn't be a show without talking about Victor Gyokeres or Benjamin Sesko. This one today is more Victor Gyokeres. This is coming out of CM Journal over there in Portugal. Victor Gyokeres direly, is that even a word? Wants Arsenal. He and his agent have already reached a full agreement with the club. He's hoping negotiations conclude quickly so he can fly to London to sign his contract. All that remains is for Sporting Lisbon to accept a new offer, which is expected soon. The pressure Gyokeres is exerting through his agents might benefit Arsenal in these discussions. Interesting. Kevin Hatchard from TalkSport thinks Arsenal will buy Gyokeres. Honestly, Gyokeres would make me very happy if we got him. I think what Leipzig are doing at the moment is pushing the price up. Everything we're reading is that Leipzig are stopping the Sesko deal. As I said before, they don't sell players for cheap. They got 75 million for Vardiol. That's a left back. You think they're going to let a striker, 21, 22 years of age, just roll out for 50, 60 million? They're not a stupid club. Go and look at the price tags they've sold players for. Szoboszlai, Nkunku, Vardiol. They get top dollar. So maybe they're trying to price us out of a deal, which suits me, to be honest. But listen, I think Arsenal are waiting to see which one they can get the better deal for. Maybe if Gyokeres applies that pressure and they allow him to go at a better price, maybe Arsenal then suddenly think... Because I think Arsenal are thinking, if they both cost the same, I think they'll go for Sesko. Because he's younger, because of his potential. And you know Arsenal, everything is like a business. And was it 90 million for Vardiol with add-ons? Where I think if Gyokeres ends up cheaper than Sesko, they might go, actually, we'll take Gyokeres because the price is better. So I hope we do get Gyokeres, but we will see. Fitz said, Eze and Gyokeres prove my point. Club Berta signings, but not Arteta. We have to break free from this man as soon as. Midnight says, Paul, Eze or Rodrygo? Eze will win hands down. I don't know. Cooper said, thank you for all you do. True legend, mate. Appreciate that, bro. And he's got a Gyokeres profile pic. And Brad is a new member. Big up your damn self. Listen, we're done for the day, people. Quicker show today, 55 minutes. Wasn't that much to talk about, to be honest, but what we did have, we spoke about it well. The Gyokeres thing's all over the place. People saying he's interested in Man United and blah, blah, blah. Look at this. Leahy said, Curtis, I only came here to say I bought the ergonomic chair and you didn't lie. Bro, I tell you. And you know this ain't a sponsored show today, so I have no reason. This Flexi Spot chair, if you're at a desk, an office, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It's pricey, but it is worth the money. So big up yourself. They better. I'm going to ask for more next time if they try and sponsor me anyway. I'm bigging them up even outside of a sponsored show. Big up to Lay, big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I will be doing a watch along for Inter Miami against PSG on Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. So make sure you tune in for that. Messi against his former club. I may go live tomorrow if there's some transfer news, so we'll see what happens. But people, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all soon, people.